morning, Louisa. Welcome back.
Good morning.
So it's been about 4 months, I believe, since you had your cochlear implant.
That's right.
Tell us how you've been going and how it's changed your life.
Okay, well, it's been going really, really well.
Great to hear.
Yes, greatly exceeded my expectations, actually, I must say. And life has been so much easier.
Great.
Mm.
That's exactly what we want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And tell me how you've gone with your family.
Yeah, life is a lot easier, definitely a lot easier. Just communicating with them on a daily basis at home, just conversation flows a whole lot more easily. Doesn't matter if people are sitting on this side of me, across from me, I can hear what's going on. So keep up with the conversation, hear the jokes. It's very, very, very good.
That's fantastic.
Mm.
And what about in social situations, particularly when there's some background noise? I know that's been a bit of a problem area for you previously.
Definitely, yeah. Previously, before, the only way I'd be able to hear is if a person was sitting so that this ear could pick up what they were saying. So now it doesn't matter if somebody's sitting on my implanted side. Background noise is a challenge, but I can still communicate when there's background noise. And I do have that extra program that you set up for me that makes it easier if I'm, speaking face to face with somebody. Whereas before I probably wouldn't have accepted an invitation to go to a noisy place. I'm just like, well, I wouldn't be able to take part. I wouldn't hear. Sorry, no, I can't come. So now I can go, take part, hear what's going on.
So it's really taken down that big barrier for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of these great people in my life, I can actually hear what they're saying. I just take part in life a whole lot more than I did a few months ago. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, there are still situations that I miss things, miss little bits and pieces that people say. But yeah, I think that happens to everybody.
Definitely.
Yep. There are strategies like Vicky, the AB rep, said to have the sound behind you. I thought that was a great tip.
Yep.
So if there's a noise source, a coffee machine or whatever, have it behind you so that the microphones all face forward.
Definitely.
What a great idea.
Yep.
So I haven't put that one into place yet, but keeping that in the back of my mind for so there are ways to get around things.
That's great. Yep. And if you can remember back to the switch on day, how was your initial reaction to the sound?
So there were just the beeps in the different frequencies, and they just sounded so clear and nice. I expected it to be a really horrible sound, really, really horrible noise, and I guess it wasn't, overly pleasant. But that first day, I was trying to use just the implanted side without the other good ear to help, and I could distinguish some words that my husband was saying. I was so excited. But since then, obviously, come along in leaps and bounds.
You certainly have.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the things I find encouraging is one of the tests where we get you to repeat back the sentences that you hear using only your implant. And within the first month, you scored 84%.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's a pretty big improvement if you remember what you scored beforehand.
Which is a big fat zero.
Exactly.
So from 0 to 84% in under a month.
That's fairly impressive, isn't it?
Awesome, yeah.
Yep.
And I would say that the improvement since then has just been out of sight. So.
Yep. Well, we're 4 months down the track now. So.
Yeah. It seems each time I see you, it gets better and better. But we may be reaching a plateau now.
Yeah, I think so.
But I can function in ordinary life, so it's awesome.
That's great. That's fantastic. And for those people who don't have a cochlear implant, how would you describe the sound of voices through it?
Yeah, it's tricky to describe. It doesn't sound 100% normal, that's for sure. And it's becoming more normal as time goes on. It still doesn't sound like normal speech because I can compare it to my good ear. But it doesn't bother me, strangely enough. I thought it would be really annoying, the differentness of the sound, if that's a word.
Yep.
But it really doesn't bother me at all. And the benefits that I get from hearing the speech, I can hear the beat of music, but that's just so awesome that any weirdness
So the benefits outweigh any cons.
Vastly outweigh,
Yep.
And over time, voices sound much more like voices. Before, male voices, female voices all sounded a bit the same, all a bit weird. And now it's really clear to me, male voice from a female, and even which voice, different people's voices. I could pick, that's this, just using the implanted ears. So
your differentiation is improving.
Yes, that's probably the proper term for it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's probably been just recently. I've noticed that just recently that voices sound a whole lot more normal than they did. A month ago maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, so it just keeps improving.
Great.
Yeah.
And if we think back to when you had the surgery and you were in hospital, tell us your experience there. How did you find the recovery? Everything went totally to plan.
I'm a little bit wussy when it comes to surgery and things like that. So, being in hospital, it was only overnight. But I don't want to do it again in a hurry, but it was fine. It really was fine. Dr. Q, he was fantastic. It healed so fast. And the nurses were all lovely. It really wasn't a big deal at all.
So you were well looked after.
Well, I was very well looked after,
That's good.
And it just went completely to plan. Then when I got home, I think it felt a bit off for the first week, I'd say. And then, was it a week after that the switch on happened?
I think so, yep.
So I was happy to have that week of didn't do much, just sort of took it easy. And then by the time switch on happened, I was feeling,
You're ready to go.
Ready to get cracking.
Yep. What do you think was the hardest part of the whole exercise?
That's a good question. The hardest part, it wasn't making the decision to do it, that's for sure. And it wasn't the getting used to it. That was all actually quite easy. Probably the surgery.
Yep.
Not sleeping much that night. I like my sleep.
That's understandable. Make anyone a bit nervous.
Yeah. But it really wasn't actually anywhere near as hard as I thought it was going to be. So, I'm coming here for all the adjustments and so forth. It's been a breeze.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets?
No. Oh, no.
It's been a good change.
Oh, right up there with the best decision I ever made kind of thing. Because, my life, how my life would have turned out if I didn't do anything about it compared to now where all options are back on the table, really, in terms of work and social life and everything. I'm just so glad I went through with it. So it was scary but worth it, 100%.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice to someone who might be considering going down the same road as you?
Yeah, well, I would say obviously everybody's situation is different, and I think, as you said, I was a pretty good candidate, being that I hadn't been deaf in that ear for that long. Other people's experience might be not quite as smooth and easy and profound as mine, but I would definitely say to come and have a chat to find out whether it's an option, because life-changing. It's just a life-changing experience from my perspective.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's been my pleasure looking after your hearing, and I've really enjoyed your brightness and your positive attitude. So
thank you.
Thanks for that. And thanks also for being so brave to share your story on camera.
Oh, my
I'm
pleasure.
Sure there'll be a lot of listeners out there who will be really keen to hear your experience.
Yeah, well, that's why I was really keen to do it, because if there's anything that I can do to help people overcome the fear, it's a scary prospect, and just to see other people's stories. I know I Googled it a little bit. I looked at a few YouTube videos to see what people said, and they really did help.
Yep.
To see over time as well that, straight away, you might not be over the moon with the results, but as time goes on,
step by step, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was really valuable, and hopefully, I'd love to help other people make that scary decision.
That's great.
If they're candidates,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thanks again.
My pleasure. Thank you for all your help. You've been wonderful.
Oh, you're most welcome.
At every step.
All right, thank you.